Hello and welcome to yet another video here on the YouTube channel Spillfängning Fellowship. My name is Andreas Norwegian Viking and this is part 4 of my review and go through of the entire Hobbit There and Back Again SBG book. So already I've gone through all the profiles as well as the army special rules for all the armies contained within the book. So now we come to the scenarios. So first of all, the scenarios are expanded upon, changed, some of them drastically, and some interestingly have very similar deployment as a fan favorite from a certain team in North London, or is it South London? I can never remember. From London. Let's go through them one by one. So you have the Desolation of Smaug story so far. So it explains what happens up until this point. So the book kicks off with the what's happening in Mirkwood. So it has not included any story of Beorn against the Hunt Rocks as of yet. So there are scenarios for it, so I'm sure we will be playing those in the Grand Campaign as well. But the first scenario is Flies and Spiders Part 1, The Unseen Hero. So this is a very similar scenario to the one that was released in the original Desolation of Smaug journey book. So you place, basically it's a 4x4 foot table, you place 3 25mm markers on the board. 2 of them represent a dwarf, 1 is a decoy. Evil players select these in secret, and it is Bilbo Baggins's mission to find the dwarves and rescue them, and there are 6 Mirkwood spiders to go against him. So the interesting thing is that the spiders are well, they have to take a courage test prior to moving, and you can move them d6, and instead the good player can move them d6 if the courage test is failed. So it's a bit like sentries in the Wizards in the Dark scenario, but with the buff of the Mirkwood spiders, the paralyzed buff, that it is a throwing weapon. So that means it's a bit better evil force. There are not much changes to it, so I'll just go to the next one, which is Flies and Spiders Part 2, The Elves of Mirkwood. And now here it gets interesting. So in this scenario you have 18 Mirkwood spiders against Thorin, Bolin, Dwalin, Fili, Kili, Oin, Gloin, Ori, Nori, Dori, Biffa, Boffa, Bomba, Bilbo, Legolas, Tauriel, and 20 Mirkwood Rangers. So you have the entire Thorin's company minus Gandalf plus 22 elves, basically, 2 of them being very, very good heroes. And it's played also on a 4x4 foot, and it is the objective to drive off the spiders and protect Thorin's company. So the good player wins if after 10 turns there are more good heroes alive than dead. And the evil player wins if after 2 turns more than half of the good heroes, both Bilbo and Thorin, must have been, or both Bilbo and Thorin has been slain. So you can choose to target 2 heroes to win. And doesn't seem to be that much changes to the original scenario either, to the old one. So now you have Barrels Out of Bond Part 1, Open the Gate. And this is an interesting one. They have changed out the evil heroes. So I think it was Azog and Nasog in the original scenario, and now it's all of course, for the movie, it is now Bolg and Narsug instead, because Bolg is there but Narsug isn't. Azog isn't. So it's still 24 Hunter Orcs and 12 Hunter Orcs and Felwogs for it. And I think Barrels at the Bond is perhaps one of my most favorite scenarios. One of these might become one of my favorites. I have an inkling as to one I will enjoy thoroughly, but I'll get to that later. But yeah, so Barrels at the Bond is recommended. I could not see. There's probably some minute detail. I didn't bring my old book to compare to the old one. I'm not at home currently, so I'm at a gaming convention. So yeah. And the second one is of course with the inclusion of Fimble to the Evil Force, and not much else. It is still a very good scenario. Both Barrels at the Bond scenarios could be great to play. I'd wholly recommend it. So I couldn't see that much difference. Of course, there's some profile differences for them, but no real thing basically. So now we come to the scenarios I really want to play. I have today bought 12 buildings, the Lake Town buildings, 4 sets of 3. So so this scenario is quite cool. For the good side, it is Bard the Bowman and Bane son of Bard. And for the evil side, there is the Master of the Lake Town, Alfred the Counsellor, Braga, Captain of the Guard, and 12 Lake Town Guard, 4 with spear, 4 with sword, and 4 with bow. So this is an interesting one. It's played on a 4x4 table, and it's intended to play with the buildings, like with about 12 buildings and just loads of like rickety plankways along. The men of Lake Town are sentries. The alarm can be sounded, and Bard and Bane may not shoot or strike anyone because they don't want to kill them. It is basically a very sneaky scenario, very cool scenario I do want to play very much. And the objectives is for Bard to get the Black Arrow to the Windlands, and he must avoid being captured by the guard. And the Master of Lake Town will try to arrest Bard, so the evil player wins if both Bard and Bane are slain before they can complete their objective of getting the Black Arrow to the Windlands. So the Windlands is on one of the upper corner, and the good player deploys way down in the opposite corner, so they have to traverse the plankways and stuff like that. I do want to play this at least a couple of times, because it sounds very, very in the spirit of the game, as it were. So the next scenario is Assassins in the Night, and this is a scenario I do think is going to be one of my favorite scenarios. It has all the key components for it, and I'm really, really looking forward to playing that. It is played on a 12 by 12 inch table to represent the inner layout of Bard's home and the veranda, which is 2 inches. So the inside is 10 by 12 and the veranda. The good models are Feely the Dwarf, Keely the Dwarf, Bofa the Dwarf, Oin the Dwarf, Bane son of Bard, Tariel, Legolas, and Sigrid and Tilda. So only heroes for the good side. And on the evil side you have Fimble the Hunter and 12 Hunter Orcs. So the good player places Bofa the Dwarf on the veranda and the rest of the good models anywhere within Bard's house, at least 1 inch away from a window, because windows do apparently have a something to do with the objective in the game. Legolas and Tariel do not start the game in play. It will be available later. The evil player may then place D6 evil models anywhere on the veranda or touching a window. The remainder will enter play later. So the objective of the scenario is the evil player wins if it has 3 good models killed. The good player wins if they can prevent this for 10 turns, or if there are no evil models in play at the end of any end phase. In any end phase, yeah. So there are some special rules. Desperate attack. Whenever a Huntrock is slain, place it to one side. At the end of the next evil move phase, the evil player rolls a d6 for each evil model currently not in play. On a 3+, place the model back anywhere on the veranda or touching a door or window. It may move no further that turn and cannot shoot. Obviously, you can only shoot. You can only kill Fimble the Hunter once, so he may not re-enter play in this manner. You also have the Morgul Sickness. Keely lies dying, the poisons of the Morgul arrows that struck him surging through the blood and ravaging his body. He may join the fight, but the effort could kill him. Every time Keely moves, shoots, or is involved in a duel, or is pushed back, roll a d6. On the roll of 1, he dies and is removed from play. Next one is the Elven Hunters. Tauriel and Legolas have tracked Bolg's warband to Lake Town. As the fighting breaks out in Bard's home, they race to the scene. Starting in the second turn, the good player rolls a d6 for each for Legolas and Tauriel at the end of the good move phase. On a 6, they crash through the roof of Bard's house and enter the fray. Place them anywhere on the playing area as long as they are not touching an evil model. They may move as normal, but may not charge that turn. So they might not come at all, basically. So next one is the Capture of the Grey Wizard, and this is of course in Dol Guldur, where Gandalf has gone to find out stuff. And this seems like a very cool scenario. It's played on 24 by 36 foot table, so very narrow field, and they basically represent the environment of Dol Guldur. So you have Gandalf the Grey and Thrain the Broken are the good models. For the evil models, you have the Necromancer of Dol Guldur, Azog the Defiler, 6 Huntrogs and Felwogs, and 12 Huntrogs. There are loads of models for the evil side. But there are ways for this to be rectified. So the objective is Gandalf and Thrain can escape from a board edge, and the evil player wins if Gandalf is slain. And if Thrain is slain but Gandalf survives, it's a draw. Specials are Flash of Light. Gandalf is known far and wide as the creator of thunder flashes and fireworks. In the first turn, all evil models on the tabletop are transfixed, just as they would if they have been targeted by magical power and has failed to resist it. So the first turn, every single model is transfixed. And bring the bridge crashing down. During the move phase, well, with Gandalf being on the bridge, he may attempt to smite it. Roll a d6 on a 4+, he's blasted out a section of stonework. Mark the bridge to show that 1-inch wide fissure has been created in it, directly behind Gandalf's base. Models wishing to pass this gap will need to pass a jump test. So you can force a jump test on reinforcements, basically. And you roll basically 2d6 for reinforcements for evil each turn. On a 2, no reinforcements arrive. On the 3 to 6, d3 Huntrogs arrives. 7 to 9, 1 Huntrog and Felborg arrives. 10 to 11, d3 Huntrogs on Felborg arrives. And on the 12, the Necromancer of Dol Guldur arrives himself. So this also looks like a very fun scenario I want to play. I do want to play it on a certain board. We'll see if we can make something happen there. But looks to be good fun. Good fun, this. So this marks the end of the Desolation of Smaug. There are several scenarios. So we go from 8 till 14, so that should be 7 scenarios in total. That is one more than was previously, but we have some in store, so some other scenarios in store, so we'll have a bit longer scenario time for our grand campaign as well. So next one is the first in the Battle of the Far Armies. It's Fire and Water. So this is similar to the scenario you played Smaug in. That was included as the only scenario, wasn't it? Only scenario in the Battle of the Far Armies sourcebook. You have Bard, Bane, Sigrid and Tilda, Tauriel, Keely, Feely, Bofer, Oin, Master of Lake Town, Alfred, Braga, Captain of the Guard, 25 Lake Town Guard, 8 each with sword, spear and bows, against Smaug. Just Smaug. Oh well, I say just Smaug. Smaug is a very, very powerful foe. So this looks to be quite similar, other than they have received some hero reinforcements. So the addition of Bard's Children is in here now. Looks to be great fun as well. Read through most of the scenarios, and to rectify Smaug burning everything down, every good hero has an elven cloak. So yeah. And in the next scenario you have the Fall of the Necromancer. And this is of course one scenario I do want to play on a very certain board. And I hope we can make that happen. Really hope that could happen at some point. I think it should happen before April. Something's happening there. This is basically then the White Council, Gandalf, Galadriel, Elrond and Saruman, and Radagast as well, against Keeper of the Dungeons, all 9 of the Nazgul of Dol Guldur and Necromancer of Dol Guldur. So the objectives here are, if Gandalf moves off the board and Necromancer is banished, evil side wins if 2 members of the White Council, including Gandalf or Radagast, are slain before this can occur. Gandalf begins the game with no might or will. His staff is destroyed as well, and he begins the game under the effects of the paralyzed magical power. He's a heavy object for a good model as well. The 9 mortal men doomed to die enter the fray. Radagast, Elrond and Saruman and Galadriel tries to help Gandalf. So this could be a very cool scenario to play, and I do want to play it on a 24 by 24 foot table. So now we come to Erebor itself. So there are loads of scenarios. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 scenarios depicting the Battle of Erebor. And the first one, of course, is the Iron Hills Arrive. In this scenario, you play on a 4x4 foot table with dwarves on one side and elves on the other. So it's Thranduil, King of the Woodland Realms, on an elk, 2 Mirkwood captains, 36 Mirkwood elves, 12 of each with shield, glaive and bows, against Dane Ironfoot on his war boar, Ironhill's captain on a war goat, 24 Ironhill goat riders and 2 Ironhills ballistas. So no infantry at all for the goods for the dwarves in each. So elves take the part of the good side in the scenario. Must be, of course, because of Dane's profanity, I guess. And the Goat Riders do their devastating charge in 4+ in this scenario. If Dane or Thranduil calls heroic action, then the other must call their action of the same type if they have might available to them. So it's basically big clash in the middle. I do think the dwarves have an advantage because they can both destroy the elves from afar and deny them shooting. And 24 goats is a force to be reckoned with, I do believe. So yeah. So at the end of the turn, where one army starts broken, Azog's Legion will arrive, and the side that broke their opponent will be the leader, winner. So we have the Clouds Burst. In this scenario, you play with both elves and dwarves on the same side, with evil on the other. So again, it's played by on the 4x4 table with rocky ground. Should be like that basically, because it's the field of outside Erebor. You have Thranduil on an elk, 24 Mirkwood elves, Dane, and 24 Ironhill warriors. Dane is also mounted. Evil is 3 Gundabad Orc captains, 3 Gundabad trolls, and 36 Gundabad Orc warriors. So in this scenario, any Gundabad Orc warrior that is slain may arrive in the next move phase. Evil side cannot be broken as well. The dwarves may not move towards the western board edge, so they have to move towards the enemy. In addition, or stay put, basically. And only dwarves may benefit from Dane's heroic actions and stand fast, and only elves may benefit from Thranduil's heroic actions and stand fast. And if both Thranduil and Dane are both alive at the end of turn 10, the evil player, the good player wins, and if both are slain at the end of turn 10, it's a draw. It's a win for the evil side, and any other result is a draw, basically. Now for a scenario I really want to play. The chariots arrive, or charge, as it were. So again, 4x4 foot, the rocky ground outside Erebor is the scene here. So you have Ironhill's captain, 12 Ironhill's dwarves with spear and shield, and 2 Ironhill's chariots. I fear I need to buy myself 3 Ironhill chariots, 2 normal ones and 1 for the heroes. Seems to be what I want to do, or need to do. You have 3 Gundabad Orc captains, 1 Gundabad troll, and 36 Gundabad Orc warriors, 8 with shield and 8 with spear. So in this scenario, Gundabad Orcs arrives as reinforcements as well, if they are slain, and the good player wins if they can kill 30 enemy models before they are broken. And I do think that will be manageable with the extreme might of the chariots. I do believe that is possible. So evil wins if they can't kill before they are broken. Ends a draw if it happens in the same turn, basically. Unleash the war beasts. So here we'll have both ogres and Gundabads fighting. So you have 2 chariots, 2 captains, and 24 Ironhill dwarves. You have 3 Gundabad Orc captains, 4 Gundabad ogres, and 36 Gundabad orcs. And in this scenario, you would need to kill all the ogres in the evil army. And the evil player wins if they can kill both the chariots. So it's basically kill 4 ogres or kill 2 chariots. Again, in this scenario, the Gundabad Orc warriors re-enter the fray as reinforcements, and they can't be broken. And ogres must reroll wounds on a roll of 1 against the chariots as well. So they do get some extra firepower in this. For the scenario of the breakthrough, you have a 24 by 24 foot table, inch table, sorry. And here you will see the Lake Town doing their business. So you have Bard the Bowman on horse, Gandalf the Grey, Bilbo Baggins, Master Burglar, and 12 Lake Town Militia against 2 Gundabad Orc captains, 1 Catapult Troll, 18 Gundabad Orc warriors. Special rules for the scenario is Bard may call a heroic march a return without reducing a store of might. Evil can't be broken and Gundabad Orc warriors re-enter the field, and Radagast staff. So Gandalf declares he's casting a magical power. He has to declare how many will points are being used. Then you roll a single d6. If the roll result is 1 or 2, then the magical power is not cast and any will points are lost. So this is because it's a bit fiddly, as Radagast likes to say. And good deployment is within 3 inches of the center of the south table edge. And the good player wins if Bard, Gandalf and Bilbo reach Dale, which is basically on the other side of the table. It's a causeway, basically, up to Dale. And when they arrive, you get the next scenario, which is Battle in the Streets. So here you also have Bard, Percy, Gandalf and Bilbo, Alfred and 25 Lake Town Militia against 3 Gundabad Orc captains, 2 Gundabad Trolls and 36 Gundabad Orc warriors. Again, evil can't be broken, and Gundabad Orc warriors arrive as reinforcements. But Alfred may not use his Dubious Counsel special in this scenario. Bard may call a heroic action each turn without spending my might, because he's looking for both Bane, Sigrid and Tilda. And Radagast staff is still in effect, because Gandalf hasn't quite managed to work out the fiddly bits yet. So the scenario goes for 10 turns, and Bard must exit the board via the eastern board edge. He basically deploys 12 inches in on the western board edge for the start of the scenario. And evil wins if they reduce Lake Town men to 25% of the starting number at the by the end of the turn 10. So now, next scenario is something worth fighting for. So Bard, Bane, Sigrid and Tilda are against 1 Gundabad Ogre and 6 Gundabad Orcs, 3 with shield, 3 with spear. And this again is one of my favorite types of scenario. Few models, loads at stake, and you really get the feeling of the sense of urgency in the game. So Bard automatically passes any courage test he has to make, and he's trying to save his children. So should any of Bard's children be slain, the evil player is immediately declared the winner. So he only has to kill 1 of the 3 kids. Yeah. And good has to kill all evil models. So basically kill everything and good wins. But it will be a cool scenario, I think, to play. Really cool. Bard is deployed long way away from Bane, Sigrid and Tilda, and they are being chased by 2 Gundabad Orcs as well. So it might not go too well for them. In the ultimate prize we come back to the Elves, where Thranduil, 1 Mirkwood Captain and 24 Mirkwood Elves are on the table. Well, only Thranduil is on the table in the first few turns. The Elves arrive via reinforcements, but Thranduil may call heroic combat each turn without spending might. But Gundabad Orcs are also as Legion, so they do come back if they die, and they cannot be broken. So Thranduil has to survive 10 turns. If you don't, evil player wins. In The People Fight Back, we get to meet Hilda Bianca, finally. So here we have Bard, Percy, Hilda, Bianca, Alfred, Gandalf, Bilbo, and 25 Lake Town militia. Against Gundabad Orc captains, 1 Gundabad Troll, 1 Ogre, and 24 Gundabad Orcs. And there are loads of special rules. Alfred may not use his dubious counsel. We are Legion are again in effect, so Gundabad Orcs are without number, so they come back as reinforcements. And if you put good models away to be used for reinforcements, they can come from turn 4 and onwards, as well as Gandalf has the Radagast staff, so no difference there as well. So good have to outnumber the evil player at the end of turn 10 to win. But again, street fighting scenarios are very cool. I do think this scenario really represents the whole feel of the struggle in the streets of Lake Town or Dale, as it should be dealt with in the scenario. Alright, so we come to scenario 26, which is To the King, and this is on the by the gates of Erebor. You have the dwarves all in like a ring formation with the gates in the middle, just begging Thorin to open the gates and let them in to weather the storm of the evil horde of models. And here you get the might of the army of Thorin Oakenshield. You have Thorin, Balin, Dwalin, Keely, Fili, Biffa, Buffer, Bomber, Ori, Dori, Oin, Gloin, and Dane on foot this time, as well as 24 Iron Hill warriors, facing off against 3 Gundabad Orc captains, 3 Gundabad trolls, 1 catapult troll, 2 brutes, troll brutes, and 36 Gundabad Orcs with various weaponry. And in this scenario, of course, we are Legion are in effect because there are so many Orcs against them. All dwarves have the Dubakar rule and should be charging if possible. All dwarf heroes causes terror, as well as bow for the troll rider. So this is a very cool thing, and I hope the troll brute gets an option for both riding him, because as I looked through the book, I couldn't find a way that both could ride the troll. It would be so cool to have that as a model, basically. So both for the dwarf, Champion of Erebor is involved in a duel roll against the troll brute, and a good play is victorious, and a good play can declare that they have taken control of it. Remove both of the dwarf, Champion of Erebor, from the board. The good player may then take control of the troll brute, treat it as a good model from this point onwards. If the troll brute is slain, both of the dwarf, Champion of Erebor, must take a thrown rider test as described in the main rules manual. So I do hope, and please, please, please make that model with the option for the extra dwarf on it. That would be so cool. But the scenario again lasts for 10 turns, loads of this. Timed scenarios are very cool. We only have to remember to actually time it, because that's my main problem with timed scenarios, is I have to actually think of a time, make sure the markers are available. And the good player must capture 3 objectives on the board, and they are on the middle line with 12 inches between them. So 12 inches from each table edge, there's 1 marker, and 1 in the exact center of the board. They must capture 2 of the 3 objectives by the end of turn 10. So the dwarves are pushed out. So they have to, and since the orcs can deploy on the middle of the table on the 24-inch line, that means the dwarves have to break through, and that can be a very cool way to play the scenario. I do I do think that this will be a great scenario to play. And here it comes. A scenario I've been longing to play ever since I saw the extended cut of the Battle of the Far Armies. It is Chase Along the Frozen River. So you have a 24 by 24 foot table with no terrain at all, nearly. But it is very special, and I'll go through the scenario because it needs some explaining. So the forces are Champions of Erebor riding Iron Hill chariots. One Iron Hill chariot. So it is basically the army in itself, one model. You have 2 Gundabad trolls with scythe gauntlets and 12 hunt orcs on fellwargs and 12 fellwargs as well. So it is a rolling board. So basically you deploy the Iron Hills chariot center of the eastern board edge. Evil player deploys 6 hunt orcs on fellwargs touching the other side, the western board edge. So the dwarves must escape the river and join Thorin in his assault upon Ravenhill. The good player wins if the chariot escaped the 6th board edge. So they have to pass through several boards. So you can pass through and then reset at one point. So there's a rolling board for this. Could perhaps play on a, how much would that be? Nearly 150 by 24 foot table. Could manage that, but I think it's more fun to roll them along. So the chariot must successfully move off the western board edge to create the next scene of the chase. So whenever the chariot escapes, it will take them about 3 turns to cross or more. You set up for the next part of the scene. So board section 2, board section 1 we have already explained. Board section 2 is 2 hunter orcs on fellwargs and 6 fellwargs. Section 3 is 6 hunter orcs on fellwargs and 6 hunter orcs, 6 fellwargs only. So 6 of each. Board section 4, there are 6 hunter orcs on fellwargs and 12 fellwargs. Section 5, it's 12 hunter orcs on fellwargs as well as 12 fellwargs. And on the 6th section, you have 12 hunter orcs on fellwargs and 12 fellwargs, as well as a Gundabad troll in the 2nd row of the board. And there's a pursuing troll. You have a Gundabad troll trying to get to grips with him. At the start of the evil player's 2nd move, place 1 Gundabad troll behind the chariot. And the troll then joins into the next, if it's still alive, joins into the next board 1 turn behind it, every single board. So it's a nice chase. It gives a sense of urgency and really helps with the realism of the scenario, I think. Next one is Ride to Victory. So here you have the Goat Riders themselves. You have Thorin, Kili, Fili, Dwalin, all on war goats against 24 Gundabad orcs and 2 Gundabad orc captains. So We Are Legion is in effect. Cut the head of the snake is in a special rule. So if the good player managed to get any of the models within 12 inches of the eastern board edge, evil player is prevented from bringing on more reinforcements. And then you have onwards to Ravenhill. Thorin must reroll all failed to wound rolls. It could be quite good. Could be quite handy indeed. Especially when he gets D3 wounds on everything. So Thorin must reach Ravenhill, and the evil player wins if they can kill 2 dwarfs, and if 3, all dwarfs have to escape the board edge for a good victory. So the opposite board edge. You have ambush at Ravenhill. So here we have Thorin, Kili, Fili and Dwalin against 2 goblin mercenary captains and 24 goblin mercenaries. So again, a 10 turn scenario. The good player wins if by the end of turn 10 both Feely and Killy have escaped the board edge and none of the other dwarfs have been slain. The evil player can prevent the good player from achieving one of their objectives, and then the game is a draw. If the evil player can prevent the good player from achieving both objectives, the evil player wins. So they basically have to reach safety, and they start on the middle of the board. There's a planned ambushing going on, so you can deploy half of the evil force on turn 1 with a mercenary ambush, and yeah, so you can basically ambush from both sides with the ambush rule. And good heroes may not call in heroic marches at all. Additionally, when the goblin mercenaries arrive, they may both move and charge on the turn they arrive. So a very strong evil force in this. Hopefully they're goblins, but it is basically 4 models against 26. So it will perhaps take a toll on them. You have last stand of the company. So this is something not particularly seen in the movies, I think, because you have Dane, Biffa, Bofa, Bomber, Ori, Nori, Dori, Oin, Gloin, and 24 Iron Hill Warriors against 3 Gunnabad Orc Captains, 3 Gunnabad Trolls, 1 Troll Brute, 6 Warbats, and 36 Gunnabad Orcs. So this is basically the mopping up of the evil forces. We are Legion are in effect, as well as both the Troll Rider. Warbats can arrive from turn 6, and all dwarf heroes reroll wounds on a 1. And in this game, it is a 10-turn scenario. The good player scores 1 point for every dwarf hero left alive, while the evil player scores 1 point for every dwarf hero that has been slain. So you really have to keep them alive. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 dwarfs still on the battlefield. So really, I really like all these scenarios because they are timed and they seem balanced enough. I'll have to play them, of course, but it's miles off what we saw in the previous sourcebook. This replaces. We have Bjorn's Fury. So finally we get to take out Bjorn and use him as the monster is. So you have Bjorn the Bear, Radagast the Brown, riding Great Eagle, Byhen 4 Great Eagles. So while you have to paint up 2 more Great Eagles for us, as well as Radagast riding a Great Eagle, or I could paint that. We'll see. You have 3 Gunnabad Captains, 6 Warbats, and 36 Gunnabad Orcs. And in this scenario, you have Bjorn's arrival, so passenger rules are in effect. Finally, some passenger rules again. And he dismounts and can charge and move when he becomes an eagle and transforms as soon as it dismounts. It's basically the same type of things. I don't think I want to make a Bjorn conversion on a Great Eagle for this. I might do. So yeah, it's basically timed scenario again, 10 turns, and evil has to exit the board. So it's basically they're fleeing for their lives, being ridden down by eagles and bears alike. So the clash of heroes. So this is at Ravenhill. You have Azog and Feely, Thorin, Dwalin, and Bilbo, Tauriel, Kilian, Bolg, and Legolas. So you have 4 corners on each side. You also have 12 Gunnabad Berserkers and 6 Gunnabad Orcs in the scenario. There is an ice flow in the middle with the edge as well. And yeah, neither side needs to make courage tests, and neither side make all heroic strikes. That's very interesting. Legless can, if he chooses within 12 inches from Thorin, toss Thorin Orcrist to give it away. And we get a glimpse of what has been with Legless regaining his old Prince of Mirkwood stat line. Because if Tauriel is slain, Legless immediately increases his fight value to 7 and his attacks to 3. So we might see him return for one scenario at least, for those who are disappointed that he was nerfed again. So the first side to wipe out their opponents is declared the victor, and will decide the fate of Middle-earth. So this is basically the last stand. So there you have it. That's the entire ream of scenarios for this book, and I can't wait to get finished. We still, at the time of this video, we still have to film 6 scenarios for the Unexpected Journey. I think Unexpected Journey wraps up by the beginning of February for us on the channel, because we have filmed up until Christmas Eve, I believe, already, and we will film in 2 weeks the remaining 6 scenarios. And we will use the time between to plan out scenarios and paint all the models and do all the things we need to do to make this happen. That includes making Lake Town, painting Smaug, doing loads of stuff. But I can't wait to get to grips on the scenarios in this book, because it reminds me of the way the scenarios were written before. It's almost like they resurrected the old scenario writers for this. They might have. So I really enjoy this. So you have the campaign play. Can play it as a linked campaign with all the different rules, if it's a good or evil victory. So every single scenario will have an outcome. And lastly, we have the appendix scenarios, and here is where it gets a bit interesting. So you have the Jewel of the East and the Fate of the Dwarves. You have 5 scenarios which are slightly linked to the story. So for the first one, you have Desolation of Smaug Part 1, The Ruin of Dale, where you have Girion, Lord of Dale, 2 Captains of Dale and 30 Men of Dale against Smaug. So in this scenario, basically, you get a bonus if you manage to kill off Smaug. That gives Smaug a bonus to, well, not a bonus, but it gives the good player a bonus in the battle against Smaug later on in the campaign as well. In the second scenario, you have Desolation of Smaug Part 2, The Fall of Erebor. And in this, you have the inside of the entrance hall to Erebor. So you have young Thorin Oakenshield, young Balin and young Dwalin, Thror, Thrain, and 24 Warriors of Erebor and 24 Grimhammers against Smaug. And it's basically a battle for survival. So we want to go back and play these scenarios as well, to include them in the grand campaign where they fit in. You have Battle for Dimrill Dale Part 1, and we already played Dimrill Dale 4 times, 3 different Dimrill Dale scenarios, but these are a bit different, and it's very cool. So you have 36 Grimhammers and 36 Erebor Dwarves, Thor, Thrain, young Thorin, young Balin and young Dwalin against Azog, the Keeper of the Dungeons, 3 Gundabad Orc Captains and 48 Gundabad Orcs. And in this one, it's hordes without end, so you get on the 3+, you get reinforcements, and basically just to crush everything. So this is the normal side, like 12 inches on, clash in the middle. And the evil player wins immediately if Thor is slain. But the thing is that when I read this, I was like, well, is it a reprint of the old one, or have they done something new? So this one isn't that different. It is a bit different, but not that much different. But in the next scenario, in the Battle for Dimmeldale Part 2, they seem to have done it exactly like Tom and Damien did in the scenario they did for SPG issue 2. So here you deploy Azog and Thrain 6 inches into the board, and anywhere else on the battlefield the players alternate to drop one model in, and that means that you have the mass battle. You have fighting going on in every corner, and that is really cool. Same for scenario 5, the Oaken Shield. Azog and Thorin is placed 12 inches away from each other, and everything else just drops in. So that's it. I'll be giving my review in the last video in the series of the entire book, giving my opinions. I've read it through a couple of times now, and initial impressions are very good, so I do recommend anyone go and get this book. It does give back the feel of ages past, when the supplements were really well thought of and good. So yeah, it's an awesome book, and I'll be giving my full marks on it later on. So thanks guys for watching. Please comment, like, share and subscribe. Remember our subscription contest. If you haven't already subscribed, click the subscribe button down below, and you have a chance to be entered in a prize draw when we reach 1,000. So that's it for now. Take care and support your Hobbit hobby.